So we went to Mexico a couple of weeks ago for your blogging retreat. So I went to this thing by myself with nobody. And it was amazing. And Nate, my middle child, he said, "Are you in your room by yourself? Are you out like with other people?" And I said, "I'm with other people." He goes, "Name 2 people at the retreat." And so I did. And then he was like, "Okay, so what have you done?" And I was telling him, and he said, "Oh my God." And I said, "What's the matter?" He goes, "I remember you." He said, "I know that person. Mom, I'm so proud of you. I haven't seen this in so many years." And it's so empowering.
Welcome to the Online Advantage podcast, where I show you how to use digital marketing to dominate your industry. I'm your host, Laura Peters-Avalos. I'm a practicing mindset coach, full-time travel blogger, and high-level marketing consultant. I find myself discussing business strategy and mindset more often than not, but when I'm not working on developing my business, you can find me exploring Colorado's amazing hiking trails or at our family cabin in northern Minnesota. I'll be showing up in your podcast feed every week with new tricks and strategies that you can implement to leverage your business to new heights. In today's episode, we're joined by Chantelle Kincy of Flannels or flipflops.com as she tells us about her journey to travel blogging success. All right, I am here with Chantelle. Thank you so much, Chantelle, for joining me. Can you go ahead and just introduce yourself to our audience? Let everyone know who you are, where you blog, anything special about you?
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. So my name is Chantelle, and I am the owner and CEO of Flannels or Flipflops Travel, which has branched into a travel blog and also a travel agency lately. So I'm super excited about that. So I live near Olympia, Washington, but I'm from Northern California. I've lived in Washington for about 10 years. It's great. It's very pretty, lots of hiking, also kind of dreary in the winter, but it's coming out of it. So we're doing good.
Yeah, totally. So can you give us a little background on when you started your blog? Kind of why did you start your blog? Why even go after it? We hear a lot of times people say blogging is saturated. Why even try?
Yeah, so for sure. Mine was kind of a weird story because I'll do a little backstory first because everything has a backstory, right? So I raised my boys by myself, the 3 boys. And so it really just took a ton of time, right? They were all athletes. They were all super busy into things. And so I really just spent a lot of time, doing for them, which was great. And then I also worked, 5 to 6 days a week. And so I just kind of go. And then as the boys got older, I had less to do for them. They could drive themselves to practice. They just really wanted the debit card and that was enough. And so I just found myself had to be more free time. And I always loved to travel. And I used to love to write. I wrote in high school, poetry and little stories and took all the AP writing classes. I just loved it. It just was kind of a great creative release. And my job as a dental hygienist was not creative. And it was just so monotonous and the same thing every day for 8 hours a day. So I kind of just started my travel blog, almost like a journal of our travels, just to kind of have that outlet to kind of let go of, the sciencey type everyday stuff and just sort of kind of have a little creative flow. So I started that, and my timing was impeccable because a month after there was a global pandemic, of course, where no one could travel. And so I didn't care. I just kept writing the whole time, even though we weren't going anywhere. I was just writing, but I didn't really think about making it into a job. And then one day I was driving my middle son back up to the airport to go back to college. And he said, "Hey, how you doing, Mama?" And I said, I'm doing fine, Nate. How you doing?" And he goes, "No, but how are you really doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine. What is your deal?" And he goes, "Well, I just want you to know that you did a really good job raising us. And we all know it, but you're kind of done with that now. And we all just want you to be happy. So maybe find something that you like to do." And I was like, "I don't even know what that means. I literally don't even know what you're talking about." And he goes, "Yeah, that's kind of a problem, don't you think?" He said, go do something that makes you happy. Find a hobby, find something that you love. He goes, we're good. Like, we got it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't even know what that means. So drop him off at the airport, pull into the cell phone lot and just start bawling my face off. I'm like, my kid thinks I'm a loser. He thinks I don't have any friends. He thinks I don't have any hobbies. And I was like, wait, I don't have any hobbies. Holy crap. And so anyway, the whole drive home from Seattle, I was just like, I don't know. What do I like to do? Travel. I was like, I'm interested in my blog. I wonder if it could be something more, And so I just decided, yeah, let's do this. So I kind of just went all in at that point and started taking more classes and reading about more and more. And then I just went for it. And then I ended up getting my neck hurt from working so much on hygiene. So I had some time off work, I could really delve into this more full time. And one of my girlfriends texted me and she said, hey, can you help me plan this trip to Oregon? Like, you make the best itineraries. And I was like, oh, wait, that's a job. Yes, I will help you. Like, I will do that. And so then I went and did that too. And so it's been so awesome to finally do like the one thing that's for me. And I mean, it's still helping other people, but like it's feeding me, it's making me feel good. And so kind of just become my little baby since all my babies don't need me anymore.
Well, I'm sure your babies still need you, of course. You make some really great food, I hear. So.
Food and money.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's awesome to hear. And just kind of hearing like where you started and where you are now. And it was kind of a journey of self-discovery, more or less, would you say?
No, honestly. And it's kind of been this interesting thing where it's really helped me kind of come back to myself a little bit. So more backstory. So my marriage was abusive. My ex-husband was abusive. And for nearly 20 years, I was just kind of told every day that I would never be anything and I could never do anything right. And that I would never have anything, and just this constant just mental beat down every single day, where I started to believe it, I guess, and I just kind of lost myself in that. Yeah, and so it was just rough because it's hard to break through from that. But one day my sister, she lived in Utah, and she texted me and she said, hey, I want to hike this place called Moab. Come with me. And I was like, I didn't tell her because no one in my family knew, but I was like to myself, I was like, I can't go to Utah. So then I was like, no, we just really can't go right now. So she took it upon herself to ask the boys. She was like, hey, tell your mom to bring you guys to come hang out with me and let's go hiking in Moab. And so then the boys were talking about it. And so my ex was like, no, obviously. And so the boys just kept chirping about it. And I was like, ooh, can you go? I was kind of just like making it wasn't about me. I was like, no, I don't really want to go either. It's too far and it's this and that. And then he was like, actually, do you even think you can handle that? And I was like, what do you mean handle it? And he goes, well, you can't drive these boys clear to Utah and go hiking out in the wilderness by yourself. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. Probably not a good idea. And the boys are like, we could do it. It will be fine. And he goes, finally, he was just like, yeah, do it. And then we were later in the kitchen and he goes, do it, because I cannot wait for you to call me and tell me that you have screwed this up so bad and that you are stranded in the wilderness somewhere, or you're hurt, or you're just bawling. He's like, I just cannot wait. And he goes, if I get lucky, you'll just die out there and won't have to deal with it anymore. And so I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to Utah. And so I did. I drove 16 hours stopped for like gas and stuff, but like no hotel, like drove myself there. The boys weren't old enough to drive. Picked up my sister in Provo. We drove down to Moab for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, hiked at Canyonlands and Dead Horse Point and Arches. We had so much freaking fun. And the boys were like happy and giggling and talking to each other and talking to us. And I felt so good. And I was just always like, oh, I did that. And it was kind of just this pivotal thing for me. So when I came back home and he'd be like, oh, you can't do that because you suck at it, I'd be like, but I hiked to the top of an arch and that was kind of badass, and so I kind of just didn't like feed into it anymore. And it really just started like this whole momentum of change for me to where I was like, maybe he's wrong, but it was always still in the back of my head. And so when I did finally leave him he just said like, you're going to end up dead and homeless on the streets. Like, I'll make sure of it. Like, you're never going to have anything. And I really fed into that for a long time, just living in victim mode. I was just horrible. Like, I was a miserable person to be around. I was just, I don't know, but I ended up by buying this house by myself, and starting these two businesses by myself. And now it's just sort of become like, as I've grown through it and realized, to myself, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Now it's just like a big, like, screw you, dude. Like, I can do this. And it's made me feel so much better. And I have to tell you this. So we went to Mexico a couple of weeks ago for your blogging retreat. And I went to another country by myself with people I didn't know. I can't even go to the grocery store sometimes without having a panic attack. Like, I got bread today. I did it. Yay. No. So I went to this thing by myself with nobody. And it was amazing. And Nate, my middle child, he's my biggest like cheerleader. He's way too smart for his own good, but he called me while we were there. And he said, "Are you in your room by yourself? Are you out like with other people?" And I said, "I'm with other people." He goes, "Name 2 people at the retreat." And so I did. And then he was like, "Okay, so what have you done?" And I was telling him, and he said, "Oh my God." And I said, "What's the matter?" He goes, "I remember you." He said, "I know that person. Mom, I'm so proud of you. I haven't seen this in so many years." And I was just like, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah, I remember you." And all I could say was, I don't remember." And then I was just like, man, I must not have only been miserable to myself, but like miserable to everyone around me, just like living in this victim mode. So yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just not. And it's been such of just like a relief. And it's amazing to me how travel can do that, right? Because you're out of your comfort zone constantly when you're traveling. And you have to only rely on yourself or your group, and you just have to make things work and go with those things. And it's so empowering. And
Unbelievable.
yeah, literally, like I feel like I have an alter ego when I travel, because like here I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere, I can't do anything. And I'm like, oh, should we like check out this little hole in the wall? Like literally Jade and I found like this little hole in the wall with an arrow in Mexico. And we're like, should we go see what's in there? Of course we should go see what's in there. Who wouldn't go and crawl inside this
With
thing?
an arrow.
They're like, come in, it's fun in here. We're like, I bet it's awesome. Let's go.
I bet this is going to be a great adventure.
It was. And it was the cutest little bar inside there. And it was all like jungly and adorable. And we had the best smoothies. And I would have never done that here. I would have been like, oh, sketch. Nope. But it's just a
like
different.
It's kind of like a metaphor for going into this hole in the wall place with an arrow, and you're like, not really sure what this is about, but I guess I'm going to try it.
Out. Yeah.
It kind of reflects that conversation that you had with your son of discovering, like, what is it you actually like? What are your hobbies? What are the things you like to do? Discover that. And like some things, especially like travel blogging, it was a whole new world for you. I'm sure it was for me, certainly.
Yeah.
And so like going into travel blogging is like going into the hole in the wall with the arrow in it of come this way. And you don't really know what's going to happen. Just cross your fingers. And it was the adventure of a lifetime. And
yeah.
wow, what an empowering story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. I know it's super crazy the way things just kind of work themselves out when you let them, and you stop being resistant to that and just kind of go for it. The first thing I did when we got divorced is take my boys on a cruise, because it was what I could afford. And I was like, oh, they could eat all the food they want for free. Yes, like I can do that. And then the boys were just like, oh yeah, like we went to 5 countries over spring break, and like they didn't care. They were only there for 8 hours each. They were just like, and then they've kind of started like, well, I was like, what do you guys want for Christmas? Oh, should we just like do something instead of getting something? And should we just like go somewhere together? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, let's do that. So it's really like changed them through that too, right? Is knowing that there's more out there than them. And They don't want the things, they want the experiences. And so I'm totally into it. And that's what I want people to see from my blog too, right? Like you can travel, like you could do it. I am a freaking disaster inside, but I could travel. So you could travel too, girl. Like, let's go.
I love that. And I know that you also empower other people to do the same. I know that you had shared a story with me in Mexico about how there was another woman who was in a similar situation to where you were at, and you convinced her, hey, there's more beyond that. You're more than that, right? That's how kind of how the story went.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just told her, it was kind of the first time I really started talking to other people about what I went through. And I saw her and just in this horrible pain. And I was like, oh my gosh, like she can't do this for 20 years. Like this is going to destroy her. And so I just kind of talked to her. I was like, hey, this is what I went through. Like, I'm not trying to get in your business, but and then she came back to me like 6 months later. She's like, you saved my life. She goes, like, you actually like, I saw it from an outside perspective instead of seeing it as for myself. And she goes, and then I just felt like I wasn't crazy because she goes, I thought I was crazy. But then I realized it was like part of the game, and she goes, yeah, you saved my life. And then I decided that I was just going to tell people, like, I mean, it's not like my everyday source of conversation. Like, hi, I had an abusive marriage. How are you today? But, I do vocalize it more because I think that I was so alone when I went through that, so alone that I literally thought I was crazy because I didn't have anyone to be like, maybe he's crazy. And so all I heard, and I didn't have anyone else to talk to. And I didn't have anyone else to say like, yeah, you can do this. You can. And I don't want anyone else to do that. It kind of makes it feel like maybe what I went through was for a purpose if I can help someone else with it. So
yeah, 1,000%. I love that you're sharing your message. That's the best thing you can do. It's the best revenge, you don't have anything to prove to anybody because you're already enough, but being able to spread that to other people that's beautiful. That's amazing. So bravo for being brave enough to share that, truly.
Thank you.
And I know you are actually kind of expanding on that with your own business. Do you want to tell
Yes.
about that?
So this has become my newest baby. So I kind of what we were just saying, expanding upon that. I have a friend that I met through the kids, and she had a bad marriage and she had gotten divorced. She was getting divorced right about the time I met her. And so we kind of bonded through our crappy husband stories. And then a couple of years ago, I got this really great deal on a cruise, but I had to go on the cruise in like a week to get this deal. And so my husband, which by the way, you guys, I'm remarried. This is a good husband now. So just to save his name.
He's wonderful. Yes, we've met him. He's great.
He puts up with all my nonsense. It's amazing. I'll wake him up at 4 a.m. I'm like, you know where we should go? And he's like, to sleep? I'm like, no, but anyway, back to
Antarctica.
So, yes, it's 100% Antarctica. So anyway, he couldn't get off work in a week. And so I thought, I'm going to take her. So I called her up and I was like, hey, weird question. Do you want to go to the Bahamas next week? And she was like, I don't know. I've never been anywhere. I was like, okay, forget it, dude. You're totally coming. So I drug her along and we had so much fun. And we had like mini therapy sessions every now and then where we'd cry or where we laughed. Okay, we laughed so hard. Like I literally peed my pants in the hallway of this cruise and had to walk back to the room. And it was terrible. And she was laughing so hard. And so it was making me laugh harder. And it was just like literally the worst experience. But
the best. Yeah, exactly.
So good. And it was just so nice just to be with someone who gets it, right? And like I said, we didn't talk about awful things the entire time. That's not what it was about. But we just experienced new things together. And so we've gone on a girls' trip now the last like 3 years in a row. This year we're going to Greece for our girls' trip. But now she's planning things for herself. She's like, hey, I'm going to take my boys to Mexico. I'm like, yeah. So I just felt like
her do that.
And I'm so proud of her. And it makes me so happy that she's like got her passport and her kids have their passports and they're going to Mexico in 3 weeks. And I'm like, I'm so into this. So then I started thinking, man, let's just do this bigger, right? Let's make it bigger. And so I created this a Facebook group for women called Wonder Women. When I was a kid, I thought I was Wonder Woman, and I actually jumped off the counter. And I think I have this scar right here because I thought I could fly, but I couldn't. And so
Can't
it's
we all?
always kind of been this little thing. So I changed it to Wonder Women and made this face group just for women who, are interested in travel. And it's just kind of my idea is to have this community of like badass women who support each other. Like no pettiness, no garbage, just uplifting, happy women who like want to try something different. And just when you can see that there's other people like you don't feel as alone. And you don't have to be in a bad marriage. You could just be like a mom who takes care of your kids all day, every day, and it's exhausting and you forget how to form adult sentences. Or you just work yourself to the bone in your little cubicle all day and you just don't have that outlet. And I think as women, we just go, go, go and take care of everyone else. And everyone in some level feels that loneliness and feels that like trappedness. And so I just kind of want a place where people can be like, oh yeah, they get it. They get me. They understand me. And so then expanding on that, I've planned a group trip for women for May of 2024. We're going to go to Scotland. Anyone can go that is 16 or over that's a woman. And we are going to do some great things. And so I picked Scotland. I figured we could do some great group activities, have a lot of time for individual activities. People could get out of their comfort zone, but in a non-scary way, in a protected way, because they're going to be with other people. And even if they don't know the other people, they will by the end, just like when we went to Mexico, right? Now we're all friends. We weren't, not enemies, but we didn't know each other before. Now we're all friends. This kind of thing too. And even if someone can just have that outlet for a week, 1 week a year, I think it can just really like empower people. Scotland is a nice, easy transitional place, right? Everybody speaks English. You can read the signs. The food's not too crazy. So it's a little baby step, to just get people out of their comfort zone, but in a safe way.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to leave anybody like alone. We've got a private driver to take us through the Highlands. And so I'm just really excited about it. And I just have this vision of doing more and more of these women activities because I found that I don't think anything has ever made me happier or more passionate in my life than seeing this group come together and seeing these connections start to come together. And every time someone new joins the group, I'm so excited. And I'm like, yes, I wonder what she does. I wonder what she's going to like. I wonder if she's going to come to Scotland with us. I wonder if she's waiting like for the next trip. Like I'm so into it. And so I just visualize this like amazing community of like happy, strong women who are there for other women, like girls, like, let's do it.
A safe space. Yeah.
And like I said, you don't have to be trauma bound. You just,
right.
But everybody has their own little thing and you could find that in someone else.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. I wonder if we would have told Chantelle that you would be doing this 10 years ago, what would you have thought?
Yeah, definitely not. If we're being honest, I just probably thought I wouldn't even be alive by this point in my life. And so it was very hard to think of anything.
Yeah.
I was just, in survival mode every day. And I don't know. I was a weird kid to where like I always had these dreams and these ideas, like, and they always were about travel. Oh my gosh, so dorky. So I grew up in Northern California. My dream destination, I was like, someday I'm going to make it to Vermont. I will go to Vermont and it is going to be magical.
I love that.
I don't know why. I don't even know anyone from Vermont. I still don't know anyone from Vermont, I don't think. But that was just like the most exotic place that I could like think of to go. And I would like lay in my bed at night and I was like, when I'm in Vermont and I like have like this apple orchard or something, I don't know, just weird stuff. Like I was just so weird. So I always like wanted to go places. And then like my stepmom, she was from like Gary, Indiana.
Oh.
And I was like, I could like live in Gary, Indiana, and I could be like a waitress there. Like that, she told me there was like this cafe on the corner, and I was like, wouldn't that be cool if I was like the waitress at this place, like in Gary, Indiana? hell, I don't know. Like,
have you been to Gary? Oh, it's not at the top of my bucket list, but Michael Jackson's from Gary, so that's kind of cool. Yeah.
No, so I
That's
just
like,
always had like these weird like visions in my head
yeah.
of like, I'm gonna go there someday. And then actually like through my marriage, I really lost that. And we didn't travel anywhere because I couldn't. And I forgot how much joy it gives me to like cross into a new time zone or be at a different airport. I just, ooh, I just love it. So
So exciting.
yeah.
That feeling it gives you is just amazing. And that is so cool. Like I said, that you're empowering other people to have similar experiences that you did, because clearly it changed your life for you,
For sure.
you know? And
Yeah.
so showing that to other people is the ultimate gift. I think that's amazing. That's why we've created, you know, what we've created, because yeah, it was awesome to do it for yourself, but it's even cooler to see other people do it too.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious because you're also a travel agent, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when did you start like being a travel agent, and are you able to like be a travel agent and a travel blogger? Are they the same? Are they different? I'm sure our audience really wants to know that.
Yeah. So I haven't been doing the travel agent thing as long as my blog. I've only been doing that for about 2 years. And more even in the last year since I've been off work from hygiene, I've had more time to devote into that and to taking classes for different destinations and different markets and things like that. And so the way that I'm trying to incorporate that with my travel blog is, you know, writing about the places that we love and the experiences that we have. And then just like, hey, like I can help you. Like if booking this is overwhelming to you, I don't want it to be. So allow me to help you. I don't charge for my travel agent like fees. And so it just is a nice way for someone to say, man, this whole thing looks amazing, but where do I even start? Don't worry about it. Like I will start for you and I will help you every step of the way. And that way you can literally just go somewhere and have a good time. And so, you know, people will come to me with just an idea like, I'm planning an itinerary right now. And she said, okay, I want to go to London and I want to go to Paris. And then what? I'm like, I don't know, tell me what you like, you know, and then I'll cater it to you. And so that's kind of where I've just been trying to take, you know, things that I'm passionate about and get other people excited about them as well. And then because I do have the knowledge of who to book with and what's going on in the industry and things like that, then I can kind of help, you know, get them to the right place with the least amount of stress as possible. And so that's good. And I definitely have, you know, clients that didn't come from the travel blog that I work with, and then some that do come from the travel blog. So they're kind of separate but together, I guess, because in the end, it's all about me wanting you to travel. And however I can excite you to do that, if you want me to book the trip for you and sit on the phone with Disney for 3.5 hours on hold with a question so you don't have to, I will do that for you if that means you'll go, you know. If you just want to read my blog and be like, oh my gosh, like swimming with the sharks in Bahamas looks rad, I'm going to do that. And you're comfortable doing it, go do it. Like, but if you're like, which company do I book with? Then I can help you. And I know, you know, which resorts are under construction or which resorts have pictures on Expedia that are 20 years old and it doesn't look like that anymore. And I can be that voice. You know, if you need something when you're on vacation, you can call me. You can't call like Priceline or whatever. They're going to be like, okay, you know.
Who is this?
So I just feel like being a travel advisor is just a little more of that extra safety net for people and like doing something they've never done, but with backup. I'm just your backup. That's all.
And it sounds like you meet people where they're at. So as a travel agent, you can do the planning for them and make the bookings and do all the kind of dirty work for them. Whereas with blogging, you get to put your information out there. And if they want to do it themselves, awesome. I'm meeting you where you're at. Whatever you want, I can provide that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool.
Because everyone has different, you know, everyone has different things and different comfort levels. And so I think it's really been able to combine the best of both of those, right? Not just like, here's the information, go,
Yeah.
But if you want to come back, come back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you feel that the two complement each other well, travel blogging and travel, like being a travel agent?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, just being the travel agent and having the courses that I take for certification and meeting with the sales managers of big brands and things like that just kind of gives you a different perspective on travel. And then you kind of always know what's coming, right? And what's kind of, so, if you're really focused on like sustainable travel or whatever it is that you're into, I just think having that behind the scenes knowledge really helps to kind of build a better view of travel. And so that I can tell you kind of the ins and outs and the goods and the bads of each thing rather than just like, oh, yeah, I was here for this one day and I took this tour and it was great. But now I also know like why these people do this tour and how they give back to their community from this tour, or, just all of the little things that go into it to make me feel better about. I wouldn't send someone, a client, anywhere I wouldn't like tell my mom to go, right? And so I don't feel good about just like throwing stuff out there and, oh yeah, try this, try this, try this. Like I will make sure I'm sending you somewhere that is vetted and safe and reliable and, you know,
That
controlled.
peace of
Like
mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to be like, oh, I heard about this thing once. Like, sure, let me know how it goes when you get back. Like, I would never. And so I think that that's kind of helped the travel blogging side too, because I can write more in depth, or I can write kind of from a different angle than just, oh yeah, I saw this on the internet. It was pretty cool. Like,
Right. You have that expertise. You have that additional information that even people who have visited the place might not actually know, because you are meeting with industry experts. You are meeting with these companies and understanding their values and what they can bring to their audience as well. So
yeah.
that's really awesome. So I do have one additional question for you, and I'm sure people are
Okay.
wondering, what has been your biggest struggle as a travel blogger? And like, where were you previously? Where are you now? How are things going with your blog, the travel businesses in general?
Yeah. So it was a struggle because I took, a couple of little tiny cheap courses that I found on Facebook when I wanted to like start travel blogging. So I kind of thought I knew. My dog wants to say hello. I kind of thought I knew what I was doing. And so I'd put out all these posts that I thought were amazing. Backstory, they were crap. But but it wasn't going anywhere. Like I blogged for like almost 2 years and had maybe like a total of 1,000 views from Google, like, and not a penny from affiliate marketing at all, because apparently I wasn't doing affiliate marketing, even though I was throwing links everywhere, and it was just, I don't know, it just wasn't working. So I thought, do I suck at this? Like, because of course, that's my first reaction to everything, right? Like, what did I do wrong? How did I do this so bad? And then my husband, he was like, well, you really like it, so don't quit. It makes you happy. He's like, just do it for a hobby. And I was like, I'm not going to sink like this much time into a hobby. Like, if I do something, I want to like really, really do it. And I came across your ad on Facebook or something. And so I signed up for the email list. And then I was like, yeah, whatever. Who are these people? Whatever. I'm sure they're doing great. It's wonderful. So like about 6 months, just was like, yeah, whatever. And then I saw you guys again. And so I signed up with a different email address because I forgot it was like that I had already done it. And so then like I saw your email come through like to these two sites. And I was like, can I just delete this girl or should I hear what she has to say? And I was like, whatever. And so you were doing like a free, like live, like a couple minute thing. And so I signed up for that. I was like, I'm going to hear this girl out. And by the time you were done, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my girl. Like you were just like so positive. And I could tell that like you wanted other people to succeed. You weren't just like, give me your money and that's how you blog. You were like, no, I got you. And so I read like through a bunch of reviews and everyone was like, no, she's a great cheerleader. Like she really cares. Like she's got you. And so I told Dave, I said, look, I'm going to do this. And I know it's a bit of money, but I think I can make it back pretty quickly if what she's saying is true. and this will be my last time. Like, I promise, like, let me just do this real quick. And if this doesn't work, I will go clean teeth until I die. And so I did. And in 1 month, I had gone from like 1,000 views on Google in 2 years to 1,000 views that month. And I made like 47 cents in affiliate marketing. And I was like, ooh.
Start somewhere.
No kidding. And then fast forward to the 6-month mark, I was at 5,000 views a month. And then the next month I was at 10, and then 15. And now this month I'm already at 22, and the month's not over. And my affiliate marketing has paid for like the course, the conference, my hosting fees, basically. So I'm covered for the year fee wise through that. And I'm just like starting to see that momentum build. And so now I'm energized by it, right? Before I was just kind of like writing and spinning my wheels. But now when I write, I know it's going to go somewhere. And so it just feels so much better. And so I honestly could not have done that without not only your knowledge, but just your like cheering me on, like just silently like wanting me to win too is everything. And so that's what I want to be for people. And not necessarily in blogging, because clearly I don't have all the knowledge of that yet, but I do have the knowledge of travel. And so yeah. Anyway, thank you, because literally, like, I was having a bad day a while ago, and Dave's like, "Do you need to like jump on a call with Laura or something? Because your attitude is terrible." And I was like, maybe.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Dave's so great, but so are you. And I totally, when I meant like your struggle, I wasn't fishing for compliments, but I so appreciate it. I definitely, you know, like I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate you sharing your story, because I think a lot of people are in a similar boat. You know, they work on their blog for a long time and they just don't see that traction. So I'm grateful that you were able to invest in yourself and your skills and see it pay off, you know, and that's really what it comes down to.
I think we just get jaded because there's so many thin classes, or, you know, content that offers such thin content, and they promise these things and then they don't deliver. And so I think you just get jaded after a while. And so I think that just, you know, diving in with an open mind and going for what you guys had to offer was just literally the best decision. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Again, totally not like trying to plug
totally
it, but
fangirling over here. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're awesome. Well, I so appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story. I know it's not easy, and what you've been through is, you know, I had chills the whole time, made me cry, you know, you made me cry many times.
I know, I'm like that. But I promise if you travel with me, we won't cry the whole time. Like,
no, but I also feel safe around you to be able to share that. And I know like to be able to take on that information. And I know that other people are in the same boat. Like, people need people like you, because you've been through it and you also have seen the other side of it. And that's the beauty. So I'm just so thankful that you were able to come on. Where can people, so I know you have that Facebook group. Can you share, where can people find you on the Facebook group and your website? If you want to just give me your links.
Yes. So the Facebook group is called Wander Women Travel. So definitely come join us there. I also have, you know, Flannels or Flip Flops on Facebook for travel agency stuff. And then my blog is flannelsorflipflops.com, which I know is a mouthful, but so real quick, it's because of Washington and California. So Flannels, Flip Flops, it's just who I am. So that's where that came from. But yeah, so come and join us. I would love to see you in Scotland. I'd love to have you hang out in the group. Yeah, come on,
amazing.
Let's do it.
Come on, let's do it. I love it. I love your energy. It's amazing. So again, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So appreciate it. And for anybody who is interested, be sure to go and follow Chantelle, go join her Facebook group, stalk her on her website in a positive way. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.